Good afternoon, Mrs. Kohutikova. Let's start it. Among the Visegrad Group countries, only Slovakia joined the Eurozone, although necessary requirements have been met by the other states. Why did Slovakia rush to take this step?
Slovakia is a small and very open country, and that's why the exchange rate risk plays quite important role in their economic life. And from this point of view, it was quite nature that Slovakia wanted to adopt euro as soon as possible to eliminate all risks which are connected with foreign having a domestic currency and making trade mainly with European Union or Eurozone countries.
Could you present in the Romanian business environment a few economics and social policies through that Slovakia has improved the real convergence?
I think the first step was done around the year 1999 and 2000, where big structural and economic reforms started in Slovakia. From structural reforms, we can mention the privatization of the banking sector and big state-owned companies, but more important for reaching the Maastricht criteria were economic reforms. The goal of these reforms was to consolidate the public finance situation in Slovakia, and among these main economic reforms we can mention the tax reform, pension reform, as well as the labor market reform, which brought the necessary flexibility into the labor market as one of the preconditions of having a single currency. I have probably to mention that according to our calculation we did before euro adoption, all these reforms, including the euro adoption, have to increase or to add additional 7 to 20% to GDP growth in medium and long term time.
Were the problems that you didn't anticipate or whose magnitude has not been anticipated? Which problems are these?
I think that generally we anticipated everything very well. I think euro was adopted without any problems. All expectations, economic expectations, Maastricht criteria were met according to what was foreseen 5 years before the euro entrance. The only thing, not a very minor thing, was that we adopted euro in the year when there was a peak of economic and financial crisis in the world. But I think generally the public as well as businessmen understood very well that this crisis had nothing to do with euro adoption in Slovakia. The real impact wasn't in 2009 when we adopted euro, was the decline or decrease of GDP by 5%, but thanks to euro, thanks having the common currency, we were able in 2010 to reach a positive GDP growth without any problems. That means the reaction, the positive reaction on the crisis was coming mainly from the single currency part.
Another important question, what were the benefits of adopting the euro and when did they become visible for the business environment in Slovakia?
I think the benefits were real quite quickly. The not existing exchange rate risk, not existing fees for payments or lower fees for payments, not lower transaction costs, it was immediately visible in the business sector. And as a proof that euro was perceived and is perceived quite positively in the country is that 1 year after euro was adopted in Slovakia, according to the Eurobarometer, 78% of inhabitants were very positively evaluating this step Slovakia did. And 3 years after euro was adopted in Slovakia, the business community did a survey and 81% of entrepreneurs were very happy with having euro in Slovakia.
Beyond the achievement requirements and efforts to improve real convergence, what are the curves of standard conditions to euro? Were the specific policies in your country? Which ones?
I think besides the reform I already mentioned, what was important that there was a very good coordination between economic and monetary policy in the country. Central Bank introduced so-called inflation targeting, which positively influenced the expectation about inflation development in the future in Slovakia, and there was no problem to meet also the Maastricht criteria in this field. Besides this, what was very important was very trustful and comprehensive Euro program. And I think the very positive impulse was done or was made when Slovakia entered ERM2 mechanism. It was a sign that our way to Euro is a real one.
And the last question. Last year, the Bucharest authorities haven't taken the political decision of joining the Eurozone in 2019 or 2020. What would be the main advice based on the Slovakian experience that you would give for the launch in Romania?
Probably I will say how we did it. Firstly, at about 5 years before the real Euro introduction, the very comprehensive Euro strategy was prepared. This strategy was approved by the government and also in the parliament. That means all political parties were voted for this Euro strategy, which was very important for the future adoption of Euro. This strategy consisted from some parts, of some important parts, but the first important part was the analysis. Always the Euro adoption is based on economic analysis, but it is a political decision of the country. That means this first analysis brought a lot of arguments why to adopt Euro and when to adopt Euro. What was very important in the strategy was a hard deadline where Euro will be adopted in Slovakia. That means it was not a moving target, it was the very hard target, 1st of January 2009. It was very important for creating expectations, but also for preparing the plan how to adopt Euro and when to meet and all Maastricht criteria, and also how to harmonize all economic policies. The second step which was done was preparing of Euro changeover plan, including the nomination of Euro plenipotentiary by the Slovak government and including the main milestones which had to be met to be assured that the Euro will be adopted in the expected time. What was also very important, and I see it was a crucial part of a Euro strategy, was a communication strategy. Communication strategy was very important, not just to the business sector, but mainly to the inhabitants, that they understand why the country is adopting Euro, what are the benefits, but also what are the costs or possible also negatives. And this communication strategy included not just government and Euro plenipotentiary, but was supported by financial sector, by Chamber of Commerce, by Association of Entrepreneurs, and so on. That means this was dividing into different areas, and everybody was explaining all the questions related to Euro adoption. And it was quite successful. As I mentioned, the support for Euro in Slovakia is very high still, and is the highest within the Visegrad 4. At the end, dear colleagues, I send you best greetings from Bratislava, from Slovakia, from that country that very successfully introduced Euro in 2009. I wish you a nice conference, and I wish Romania a very successful journey to Euro.